rule the only option left for peace in Manipur? We'll be raising that question. Also, as violence escalates in West Bengal, the governor is stepping in. He'll be joining me tonight. And we'll tell you just the difference between north and south. North India simmers, but rain in the south. We'll tell you more on the other side. But first, the 9 headlines at 9. Controversy over the film Adi Purush now escalates. Information and Broadcasting Minister reacts to the row over offensive dialogues, says no one is allowed to hurt religious sentiments. Film's dialogue writer claims a threat to life. Gandhi Peace Prize for Gita Prez triggers a political showdown. Congress hits out, says it's like awarding a prize to Savarkar and Godse. Incessant rains trigger flood fury in west, east and southern India. Several areas submerged in Rajasthan. 13 Assam districts flooded. Heavy rains bring Chennai to a standstill. North India reels under a severe heat wave. Over 100 people dead in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar as temperatures cross 45 degrees. Major escalation in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh after a viral video of a youth being made to act like a dog goes viral. After huge protests and outrage, NSA slapped on the accused and the house demolished. After a power tariff hike in Karnataka, the trade body fumes. Siddaramaiah says bills are heavy due to arrears. No end to Bengal blood politics. Leader of the opposition, Subhendu Adhikari, now moves Kolkata High Court over Panchayat poll. Violence. Governor opens a peace room in Raj Bhavan to address public grievances. Enforcement Directorate moves the Supreme Court seeking custody over DMK Minister Senthil Balaji after he's discharged from hospital. The investigating agencies say present conditions have rendered the current investigation into Cash for Jobs meaningless. Countdown begins for Prime Minister Modi's America visit. The Prime Minister to lead Yoga Day celebrations at the UN headquarters in New York. Mega defense trade deals on the cards. He leaves tomorrow. But first tonight, the big story at this moment. Unpredictable weather is now grappling parts of India. Images that are now coming from across India show Rajasthan's Ajmer facing a flood-like situation due to heavy rainfall, water entering the city's main hospital, people struggling to get their medical tests done. On the other hand, rain has lashed Chennai as well, and schools have been closed in Chennai, and a warning has been sounded in several districts of Tamil Nadu. Meanwhile, temperatures are soaring across Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. More than 80 people are reportedly killed in the heat wave that's taking place there. So across the country, very different images coming. Extreme temperatures in UP and Bihar, flooding now in Rajasthan and in Tamil Nadu. What does this all mean? Joining me right at the very top is Dr. Mrityunjay Mahapatra, the DG of the Indian Meteorological Department. Appreciate your joining us, Dr. Mahapatra. The big question, of course, we are seeing heat wave in parts of UP and Bihar, but we've also seen rains in parts of Rajasthan and in the national capital. Are we going to now see this heat wave subside in the first instance across North India that's claimed several lives?
Yeah, there has been continuous heat wave conditions over eastern parts of the country, starting with Odisha, Jharkhand, Bihar, East UP, Chhattisgarh. And good thing is that the rainfall has started in some parts of eastern India and monsoon has advanced. Therefore, there will be gradual decrease in temperature and heat wave condition will gradually abate. We are expecting that during next 2 to 3 days, monsoon will advance to some parts of Odisha, some more parts of Jharkhand, East UP and Bihar. Today it has advanced to West Bengal and remaining parts of the sub-Saharan areas. At the same time, over northwest India, there is some kind of impact of the remnant of the cyclone Biparjoy, which has weakened into a well-marked low pressure area over East Rajasthan and adjoining West Madhya Pradesh. Under this influence, there is supply of moisture and also cloudiness, and there has been 1 or 2 spells in Delhi And there is expectation that rainfall activity over Madhya Pradesh will continue for next 3 days. South part of UP also, especially southwest UP, Bundelkhand region, will have good rainfall activity. East Rajasthan will get rainfall to some extent till tomorrow. So by that way, therefore, there is no scope for rise in temperature over western central India or northwest India. And we are not expecting the heat wave condition over northwest India.
You're saying that cyclone Biparjoy is what has led to rains in other parts of the country, the aftermath of the cyclone. But we are also seeing, Mr. Mahapatra, Tamil Nadu experiencing heavy rains, unusual for this time of the year. What explains the heavy rains that Tamil Nadu is getting, and is it likely to continue?
Yeah, monsoon has been quite active in this revival phase, you can say, with the weakening of the cyclone Biparjoy. Today, there has been good rainfall activity in the past 24 hours over Tamil Nadu, Puducherry, southern parts of Karnataka, southern parts of Andhra Pradesh, including Rayalaseema. There has been heavy rainfall activity also. So this is the part of the monsoon which is advancing. Today, monsoon is advanced to some more parts of South India, including some parts of Karnataka, Rayalaseema, and South Andhra Pradesh. And further, also it will advance during next 2 to 3 days to remaining parts of South India. So therefore, this heavy rainfall activity what we got in Tamil Nadu, it is in advanced phase of monsoon over the region. And once it moves further, then rainfall activity in Tamil Nadu will decrease. But there could be various spells of rainfall, and especially in the next 1 week or so, monsoon is in a good condition. So therefore, we can expect rainfall in different parts of the country, especially South India and Eastern India and Northeastern states. I will tell you, in Northeastern states, there has been extremely heavy rainfall activity for last 3 to 4 days after the advance of monsoon. And there has been flood-like situation in certain parts. We are expecting this extreme heavy rainfall activity to continue over South West Bengal and Sikkim for next 3 days, and over Assam and Meghalaya over next 2 days.
One final question. There's been much talk about how the monsoon will play out this year because of an El Nino weather pattern. What's your sense? Will we have a normal monsoon across the country given what we've seen now over the last 24 hours?
So we provided forecast of monsoon in 2 stages. The first one in the month of April and second one in the month of May. And in both the cases, we have told that we are expecting a normal monsoon rainfall for the country as a whole, with 96% of the long period average, with plus minus 4%. But if you look at the spatial distribution of rainfall, what we predicted in different parts of the country, we expect normal rainfall over South India, East Central India, Northeastern states, and Eastern India. Over Northwest India, we are expecting the below normal rainfall activity. But however, we are updating it every month, and forecast for July will be issued by end of June. To follow it up this monthly and seasonal forecast, we issue an extended forecast every Thursday, indicating the expected wet spells or dry spells occurrence during the monsoon season. That is very helpful for the farmers and various other activities related to monsoon. So that will continue. And as for this forecast, during next 15 days, we are expecting good rainfall activity. To follow it up this 15 days forecast, we also have everyday forecast valid for next 5 to 7 days. There we predict the severe weather occurrence. Just like I told you, the expected occurrence of the extreme heavy rainfall or heavy rainfall over different parts of the country.
So heavy rainfall over the next 5 to 7 days and the hope of a normal monsoon. Dr. Mahapatra, thank you very much for giving us that weather update on a day when we've seen these extreme weather conditions in different parts of the country. Let's turn from there to our top political story, which is Manipur, a state that remains on the boil. Now pressure is building on the centre to act against the Biren Singh government and possibly even impose president's rule. Today, a delegation of BJP MLAs met Rajnath Singh, and a crucial BJP ally in Manipur has said they will withdraw support if the violence continues. On the ground, though, the situation is tense. Here is our special report on what's happening in Battle Manipur.
Over 45 days of ethnic violence in Manipur. Over 100 killed and nearly 12,000 people displaced. Situation in Manipur remains critical. Young men from the Meitei and the Kuki community of Manipur training to handle guns in Singda and Chalbung village of Kangpokpi district. These young men are part of volunteer groups who have taken up arms to defend their village due to widening distrust in the government. 48-year-old Bobby Singh, an ex-serviceman, has sent his family away from Manipur as the violence started. He, however, stayed back to defend his village and train the young boys of his village to handle arms.
हम लोग का वॉलंटियर होता है, हम लोग का जो लाइसेंस गन डबल बैरल और सिंगल बैरल करके हम लोग का वॉलंटियर को हम लोग ने अपना हमारा जुरिडिक्शन एरिया को हम लोग बंकर बना के हमारा सेल्फ डिफेंस कोई किसी बाहर का जो आउटसाइडर नहीं आने के लिए 18 से लेकर जो 45 तक हम लोग का उम्र वाला हम लोग ने ड्यूटी करता है.
In the villages dominated by the Kuki community, the story is almost the same. Haupu Gute, a teacher in private school in Kangpokpi area, now holds guns and ammunition instead of pen and books. After the violence, he decided to stay back.
Presently, here I cannot earn, so that I send her out to earn some money in the hotels. So she's not here now. She worried about me. Yesterday also Father's Day, she wished me Happy Father's Day, but her tone is very sad.
मणिपुर में हिंसा लगातार जारी है और अब लोग चाहे वो कुकी समुदाय के हो या फिर मैती समुदाय के अपनी सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी हर कोई खुद ले रहा है. इस वक्त हम कांगपोकपी जिले में मौजूद हैं और जिस तरफ हम हैं ये कुकी बहुल इलाका है. यहाँ पर जिस तरह से लोग अपनी रोजगार खो चुके हैं, जितने स्टूडेंट्स थे, छात्र थे, वो स्कूल नहीं जा सकते, कॉलेज नहीं जा सकते और अब इन सभी की जिंदगियां बिल्कुल बदल गई है. इन सभी ने या तो गार्ड ड्यूटीज ले ली है या फिर पेट्रोलिंग की. अपने अपने गांव की सुरक्षा की जिम्मेदारी लोग अब खुद ले रहे हैं.
Meanwhile, women representatives of the Committee for Peace, Imphal, staged a protest at Jantar Mantar in the national capital, asking Prime Minister Narendra Modi to intervene.
We want this firing to be stopped immediately. And we want the Honorable Prime Minister to intervene, to say something. It's been 45 days. Why is he quiet? Why is the state government quiet?
Legislators from violence-hit Manipur met Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Currently, 28 MLAs of Manipur, BJP, are present in Delhi. Manipur CM Biren Singh has urged all the armed groups in the end to stop attacks or face strict consequences.
So this type of thing has to be stopped immediately. To stop it, otherwise they will face the consequences. And I also appeal to the peoples or Meitei peoples who are with arms not to attack anything. Please do keep maintain peace.
The opposition continued to slam the ruling BJP for the ongoing violence in the state, demanding Chief Minister's resignation.
मणिपुर में जाकर दिखाइए, कश्मीर में जाकर दिखाइए. मणिपुर में जो हो रहा है, जो स्थिति मणिपुर की निर्माण पैदा हुई है, जिम्मेदार कौन है? पूरा मणिपुर जल गया है. क्या किया आपने? मणिपुर की जनता ने आपका शिकार किया.
2 प्रदेश के मंत्रियों के घर जल गए. छोटी सी सरकार है. केंद्र के मंत्री के घर जला दिया गया. न जाने कितनी लाशें ज्ञात हैं जो मार दी गई, जिनका कोई दोष नहीं था. घर आगजनी एक सामान्य सी परंपरा वहां हो गई है. तो कब तक ये डबल इंजन की सरकार, केंद्र सरकार बैठा रहेगा और सीमांत राज्य में इस तरह जलने देगा?
Whereas people are demanding president's rule in the state. With Akshay Dongre in Imphal, Bureau Report, India Today.
With more than 100 people dead, several rendered homeless, the big question is President's rule now the only option for peace? Can the trust between the Meitei and the Kuki community really be bridged? Should an all-party delegation now be sent to Manipur? Just some of the questions we'll raise. Dr. Ajay Kumar is Congress spokesperson and is in charge of the party in Manipur. Nishikant Sapam is an independent MLA from Manipur who is also supporting the BJP government there. Dr. A. Bimol Akoijam is Associate Professor, School of Social Sciences, JNU. And Y. Joy Kumar Singh is former Deputy CM Manipur and also supporting the Biren Singh government part of the NPP. I appreciate all of you joining us. Let's get that straight first on the big question. Should President's rule be declared? Nishikant Sapam, you've been supporting this government. Do you believe that President's rule is the way forward? Article 355 is in place. Should Article 356 also be imposed?
President's rule actually is anti-democracy, and I would not like President's rule to be implied here. I would rather have this system if they have to change the law and order. Law and order has to be, of course, enforced very strongly. And अगर ये तरीका नहीं चल रहा तो तरीका बदल दीजिए. But
what do you mean by tarika badal? You know, agar tarika nahi chal raha hai, tarika badal dijiye means what? What is the change that you want to see?
You see, like there are a lot of complaints against a certain, let's say, Assam rifle, let us say, in some areas. So you could use BSF more actively there, so that trust deficit, you know, can be overcome by placing the right kind of people, right kind of forces at the right kind of place, wherever the trouble is, especially the foothills. And of course, law must prevail in the sense that there are whatever miscreants in the valley or in the hills have to be taken control into. They have to be controlled. But personally, I would feel that President's rule would be anti-democracy, anti-people. But of course, somehow law has to prevail. Okay,
so you're saying that find other ways other than President's rule. Why, Joy Kumar Singh? You've been quoted today as suggesting that you will withdraw support to the Biren Singh government. You're part of the NPP if the violence continues. Let's get it clear. Do you want President's rule? Do you believe the Chief Minister should be replaced? Joy Kumar Singh, can you hear me?
Not coming.
Joy Kumar Singh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Do you believe that?
Yes, I can hear you.
Do you believe that President's rule should be imposed?
Well, it's time to consider that option also. If things continues in the way it is. In fact, our party. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Please go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Okay. Our party, our party, when we submitted our memorandum, one of the suggestions we made was that neutral authority. Now the option is up to the central government. Neutral an authority which is considered to be neutral, which is not partial to the Meitei or to the Kukis. That sort of authority is required at the moment in order to control the situation. That will be maybe my suggestion. But coming to the question of whether the situation still can be controlled or not, I would suggest that, see, I think apart from my being the ex-Deputy Chief Minister of Manipur, I think I was a DGP Manipur for almost 7 years, and in my time I've handled these such situations. Now, I have also made suggestion that apart from anything else, the government should not merely be reactive, it should be proactive. And that there is need for both the state government and the central government to act together and handle the situation with the amount of the troops at the disposal and the problem at hand. I think the situation can still be controlled. Though, of course, lots of things have taken place and there may be a bit of difficulties. But first, we have to bring about trust in the people.
How are,
One thing
the
that
question,
I'd like
of course,
to
will be
suggest
how.
is this.
The question is how
Unlike
the
other
question, Mr. Joy Kumar, I'll come to you in a moment again. How will that trust be restored? I want to go to Ajoy Kumar, the Congress spokesperson, because Ajoy Kumar, Manipur needs a healing touch. At the moment, the Congress delegation is saying that you want the chief minister to be removed, you want president's rule to be imposed. Is president's rule, according to you, really an option? How will that change the situation on the ground, given that the real problem in Manipur at the moment is the widening trust deficit between the Meitei and the Kuki communities?
Yeah, Rajdeep, just a factual correction. I was in the delegation. I'm not in charge of Manipur. Just to so that we, the issue. Look, the couple of things. One is the Prime Minister has not spoken at all. Okay, and look, the way the government works, especially in a serious law and order situation, even the civil servants, the police officers, the government machinery are also, second guessing the central government because the Prime Minister has not said a word. There is no special meeting on Manipur. At least we don't know what has happened about it. There is no discussion at the central government level. There is no discussion on what should be the acute relief measures. One is law and order and the second is relief measures. And I just want you to just give you a glimpse that, when tsunami hit and the islands of Andaman didn't have, some of the islands ran out of actual drinking water. Drinking water was airlifted, in this in the Illusion 76 and taken to planes with, loads and tons, thousands of tons of water was taken. In Manipur, I don't see that kind of Air Force relief measures going.
No, 1 minute. There's a law and order crisis. The Home Minister has spent 3 days there. What is it that you exactly want that you believe will actually revive the situation?
Okay, so you need to give me, because I spent a considerable time there because I was in that part of the delegation, and it's both ways. Look, the people on the TV, on the panels are all respected gentlemen. Obviously, they have their own perspective, but the fact is that the crack between the two communities have run very deep. If the crack has run very deep, and one community definitely feels very suspicious about the present dispensation of the government of India needs to think something which will at least restore will give them the confidence to come on the discussion table. The second issue is, have you noticed, none of them, and rightfully so.
No, please be specific. Please be specific. Okay. What do you want? No, let's be specific. What is your specific demand?
Rajdeep, I'm being very specific. The first issue is the boxes which needs to be ticked is that the Prime Minister needs to make a visit. The Prime Minister needs to hold a high-powered meeting with all the people involved, whether it is law and order, whether it is rehabilitation, whether it is compensation. These are, the two parts. Compensation, law and order, the Prime Minister has to take the bull by its horn, because you've seen what has happened with Man Ki Baat, you've seen what has happened with people, and people are actually, it's amazing that if this was happening in any other part of India, in the Hindi belt or any other part of India, 125 people died in a place which is smaller than the Lok Sabha of Delhi, which is smaller than all the Lok Sabhas in the Hindi belt or rest of most of India. 50,000 people have been displaced and there is no discussion. So one is Prime Minister needs to go, Prime Minister needs to have a delegation meeting, ensure the Kukis and the Meiteis and the Nagas for that matter, because they're not involved in this dispute right now, but they need all the communities, major communities have to be brought onto the table.
So you're calling for prime ministerial intervention to get all the groups together, very similar to what Atal Bihari Vajpayee did in a similar situation in 2000, where he had sent an all-party delegation. You're saying the Prime Minister needs to break his silence and bring all the parties together on one table. That's what you're calling for ahead of President's rule, presumably. But Dr. Akoijam, you've been very critical of the way Biren Singh has handled the situation. Is there a sense that Biren Singh has got caught in identity politics? He's a Meitei, so he's seen to be patronizing the Meitei groups that have hit back at Kukis. Do you believe removing him is the solution? Or do you believe at the end of the day, Manipur's problems go beyond individuals? These are fault lines that have always existed. They've only come to the fore again.
No, I think, both the questions of today's program, like whether it is inevitable for us to have President's rule, is a wrong question to us. It deflects from the real issues at hand. First of all, let me correct one thing. You have said that the 355 has been imposed. It is not. That's a confusion, and technically or otherwise it's not been imposed. And two, you must understand that the political culture of the state, it's the relationship between the center and the Imphal is that of a client-patron relationship. You must remember that when even the APSPA is imposed by the state government, the decision was taken by the union government. The cabinet of Manipur is only a stamp, is a rubber stamp. You need to know this relationship between the two, and the proxy way of governing the state is when you get confused with 355, and when the central leader says, stop, don't speak up, much of these politicians will keep quiet. And that's what I call it, the my baap cultures. And you need to know this particular political culture, only then you will understand it makes no difference whether there is a president's rule or not. Last one, you must not forget, the government in Imphal as well as in Delhi is BJP government, double engine government as you said it. So over and above that political culture, it makes no difference whatsoever. What is required is the sincerity of the government, the ruling party, to control it. And if you keep on harping on these issues of the deep divide, let me remind you that is the trust deficit between the Muslims and India since partition, is it irreconcilable, or is it that deep as the community relationship in Manipur? The national press, the experts on Northeast must also ask these questions. There must be a sincerity to stop it.
I just want to correct you.
The army is not given.
Yes, but the center has said, when they have said, it has Article 355 which empowers the center to take necessary steps to protect a state against internal and external aggression. The center has pumped in forces into Manipur. Are you suggesting that having this greater force presence on the ground is not enough, Professor? Are you saying that the real challenge is how do you, in a way,
No. I am saying
people?
that for the 350, Rajdeep, that the 355 is not been invoked is said openly and explicitly by none other than Kuldeep Singh himself.
Let's not forget that.
And if you look at the order issued of the appointments of various things, it's not done under the precedents. If 355 is invoked, it must be in the name of the president. We should not forget that. It is issued in the name of the governor, thereby meaning that it is presumably the state government. But I told you that the state government is only a rubber stamp. Just check the last extension of APSPA. It was taken by the union ministry first, and the Manipur cabinet becomes simply a rubber stamp. There is a client-patron relationship, a sort of a my-baap relationship. So it makes no difference whether you have the president rules or not.
So, Professor, if you are saying that effectively there is a lack of faith in the state government, effectively what you are saying, there's a lack of faith that people across both communities today have in the state government.
You are still talking. No. You are still talking. Rajdeep, you are still talking. You are not getting my point. I am saying that the state government is only a proxy of the union government. You understand what I have said?
Yes.
Again, therefore, I think it's, you call it double engine or otherwise, there must be a sincerity of the government of India. The fact that the Prime Minister has kept quiet and keeping Biren is a kind of camouflage of the proxy rule by Delhi must be exposed by the national media. You have sent the army. You have failed to refuse to even raise questions. I say, remember this. When the army's units have been disclosed, their formations and the regiments along with the commanding officers, army simply stops by condemning it. But you must inquire how did this kind of information is leaked. Had it happened in Jammu and Kashmir or anywhere, there would have been a hangama in this nation, and defense expert would have said, how dare you disclose the unit name, regiment names and commanding officers? It has been openly used. The itinerary of the Home Minister was already available among some sections, party to this conflict on their websites. Nobody bothers. There has been an accusation by a Lieutenant General rank that outsiders from the Myanmar has infiltrated, and nobody bothers to ask these questions. When the Home Minister was asked these questions in Imphal, he brushed it aside under the carpet. But you will publish the news of intruder being killed in Kashmir, 6 of them killed yesterday. So there's a difference in the way the union government and the national media has responded to this crisis. There is nothing like this if you have been honest Whether the national media or the government of India, these things would not have happened.
No, let me.
There is a larger game plan to something that many in
Professor,
Manipur
I have continuously been focusing on this on my shows for the last month. We've had several shows on it. I do not speak for the entire media, but Nishikant Sapam, an important...
I'm not questioning.
No,
I'm not questioning.
You're making a valid point.
You have been having program, but you are asking a wrong question.
Okay. That's your view, is that it's the wrong question to talk about whether president's rule should be imposed because you believe the state government, in any case, a proxy of the center. Nishikant Sapam, I come back to it therefore. Do you believe that the chief minister today has the moral authority to actually be able to bring the two groups together, given that on the ground he is seen to have openly sided with one? That's the charge which is being made increasingly frequently against the Chief Minister of Manipur. That you are all, and including yourself, you are all playing Mete politics.
No. We need to bring peace, and I know that...
that is what,
Can I speak?
Yeah, please go ahead, Nishikant.
It's my turn, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Nishikant.
So I said I am supporting the government, but I won't say that from inside the government. But yes, the other Cookie brothers definitely are demanding that Mr. Biren Singh goes, definitely. So that is where it stands. But I think, yes, the government has to be very, very proactive. I agree to that. And government needs to be proactive. And we see a lot of times complete lawlessness in the state.
What is the definition? All of you are saying the government needs to be proactive. Ajoy Kumar, what is your definition of being proactive?
No, the first question is, look, the conflict zones on both sides, the areas where whenever we went on the visit to Manipur, the presence of the defense, the forces were mostly in Imphal and that's all, and the border areas is where the maximum number of casualties from both the communities are there. One. The second issue is whether it is the amount of force which is available to police and patrol is one aspect. But I want to tell you what is most shocking is that there's not a single FIR for the 125 dead. You see, what is happening is, it's absolutely like one Lieutenant General who used to be a big fan of Mr. Modi, suddenly said it's like Libya or it's like Syria or something. But you tell me, what is law and order and what is government of India? There's not an FIR. At least we are not aware that there's any FIR for the 125 dead.
So what you are saying is before anything else, there needs to be a sense of justice. There needs to be a sense that people will get justice and the state will provide it. Professor, if you were given one thing, where do you start? You've said I've asked the wrong question by saying should president's rule be invoked. So what is the right question that you believe should be asked now?
I think you should make the government of India accountable. Accountable because you have shown in your program itself, it is almost like a state of nature of the Hobbesian world when you allow the civilians to defend themselves. You are already saying that like Afghanistan, India has a pockets where we are acting like a banana republic.
What is accountability?
Failed state.
What is your definition of accountability?
You must ask the center whether they have invoked and taken charge of the law and order situation under 355 or not. This question must be asked. Otherwise, do whatever necessary to rein in and to make the writ of the state works. To avoid it, I think the Prime Minister is keeping quiet with this kind of a crisis. It speaks volumes. People have been saying it openly. I mean, what can you do when the Prime Minister is not speaking? As if, even if it were a foreign country, Manipur's event as a neighbor, Indian government would have reacted. Remember, Indira Gandhi reacted because of the crisis in East Pakistan, that kind of a violence. This is inside the country, this is part of India. Why does the government of India do not respond and speak up?
Okay, let's leave it there. I think you all made your points very strongly. And as I said, the situation remains tense. We will continue to report it as fearlessly as possible with our reporters on the ground telling you exactly what is happening. As was said by the professor, Manipur is a part of India. If this happened in any other part, imagine the outcry that would follow. We need proactive action now, not later. before it is too late. I appreciate my guests joining me on the show tonight. Let's turn from Manipur to the other battleground, which is Bengal, that has witnessed bloodshed again ahead of next month's Panchayat polls. The opposition parties, including the BJP and the Congress, have now targeted the Mamata Banerjee government, accusing it of threatening their nominees. But a fresh war of words has now erupted over the governor's decision to open a peace room and travel to the violence-hit areas. In a moment, I'll be joined by the governor of Bengal. But first, to take a look at this report.
Another year, same story of ugly pre-poll violence and bloodletting. West Bengal marred by fresh clashes and political killings ahead of the Panchayat polls. A series of political murders, primarily targeting opposition workers, since window for filing nominations opened. Mamata government under massive fire, with both BJP and Congress training guns on each other.
শুধু দেওয়ার নন, উনি প্রস্তাবক ছিলেন, গতকাল স্কুটনিতে গিয়েছিলেন। এটা পলিটিক্যাল মার্ডার। মমতা পুলিশ ওখানে চাইছে ধামাচাপা দিতে, কিন্তু কমপ্লিটলি পলিটিক্যাল মার্ডার।
चाहे जो भी भरोसा बंगाल के सत्तारूढ़ पार्टी दे और खुद मुख्यमंत्री दे, इसका कोई मूल्य से कोई अहमियत आप लोगों की पास नहीं है। लोग डरे हुए हैं।
Bengal Governor C.V. Ananda Bose opened peace room in Raj Bhavan to address public grievances amid spate of clashes.
The reason for opening the peace room is to provide a comfort zone for the people who apprehend violence on their life.
The move did not go down well with the ruling TMC.
Now it has become quite evident that he is following the path of his predecessor, Mr. Rajdeep. We are expecting that this governor, Lanet, Mr. Bose, he will be following his own path. He won't be following the path of his predecessor, Rajdeep Dhankar, being a spokesperson or being a puppet of BJP.
The Bengal governor visited violence-hit areas on Sunday to take stock of the situation, but even that triggered massive political storm.
चुनावी जो वायलेंस वो देखना स्टेट इलेक्शन कमिश्नर का है। चुनाव एक बार घोषणा होने के बाद राज्यपाल का कोई भूमिका नहीं रहता है और नहीं रहना चाहिए। राज्यपाल जो भांगारा और कैनिंग में गया, बीजेपी का पार्टी ऑफिस में बैठा, ठीक नहीं किया। हम इसको प्रतिवाद करते हैं।
उसी सरकार की रिपोर्ट के ऊपर इलेक्शन कमीशन बोल रहा है कोई 0% मरा है, मतलब कोई पॉलिटिकल क्लैश हुआ ही नहीं। तो ये कैसे हो सकता है कि राज्यपाल इज द कस्टोडियन ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया और उनके ऊपर जो दायित्व न्यस्त है वो वही काम कर रहे हैं।
Bengal has been witnessing an endless cycle of killings, post-poll attacks on opposition, rapes and clashes in the past, with fingers being pointed at ruling TMC. With Ritik Mundal in Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
We go straight across to my other special guest tonight. I'm joined by C.V. Ananda Bose. He is the governor of West Bengal. Mr. Bose, you visited some of those violent hit areas. We are told now you're setting up a peace room. This has sparked up a controversy. TMC leaders are saying the governor is interfering in tasks that are not within his remit, that the State Election Commission handles law and order during an election, not the governor. How do you respond?
The fact remains that a peace room has been set up. The fact also remains there is widespread violence in many parts of Bengal on the eve of the poll. Considering these two things together, it is very necessary to take effective and proactive measures to ensure that there is peace and harmony in society. I have a reason for arriving at such a conclusion. I had been to the field, talked to the victim and went to the places where violence took place. I am convinced that people need somewhere a comfort zone where they can lodge their complaints and wait for effective action. That is the purpose of this peace room, nothing more, nothing less.
But will this lead to some kind of conflict between the governor and the state government? Because the state government, as I said, is maintaining law and order, is their duty. It's the duty of the election commission during the panchayat polls. Are you inevitably heading for a confrontation with the Mamata Banerjee government now?
I have never received any such feedback from the government. Whatever representations are received in the peace room are taken up with the government for action, with the State Election Commissioner for action. Both of them are responding. There is concerted effort. There is no conflict. Nothing. Those apprehensions are real.
You know, you mentioned earlier that you've gone to some of the violent hit areas for examining the situation on the ground to get feedback. What is your feedback? Because you've got the TMC which says the BJP and the left is doing it. The left and BJP are saying the TMC, which is in power, is setting their goons against the opposition. What is your feedback, Mr. Governor?
The grammar of politics is different from the grammar of governance. I am concerned with the grammar of governance. I go to find out the fact. The fact remains that violence is there here and there. Who is responsible for this? Who is behind this? That is for the investigating agencies to determine, not for the governor at this stage. I am very focused. My effort is to see that people are guaranteed the right to peace will be protected during election times.
But does the buck, Mr. Governor, stop with Mamata Banerjee? Do you think it's her responsibility at the end of the day to ensure that this is a violence-free panchayat poll this time?
I am not here for a blame game or to point accusing finger against any functionary. Bengal expects everyone to do his duty. This involves the government, this involves the election commission, this involves the civil society, this involves the silent majority, this involves the opinion makers, this also involves the governor.
But Mr. Governor, a few days ago, Chief Minister Banerjee said violence has taken place in the past when the left was in power, that it's actually reduced. It almost seems to have become, in Bengal, a case of whataboutery, your violence versus my violence. How do you see this violent culture in Bengal during elections, Mr. Governor?
Bengal is not prone to political violence. Some misguided elements are. Those lumpen elements do not represent the whole of Bengal. Whatever is happening here and there has to be contained with an iron hand, not an iron hand with velvet gloves. Sternly befitting reply has to be given to them. The goons and miscreants have only their one place to go. That is behind the bars. That everyone has to stand united and do that. That there has been violence earlier also is a fact. But that does not mean that we can justify the violence, that the contemporary violence, because something has been done in the past. This has to be rooted out. There should be a no-nonsense approach to violence, zero tolerance to violent actions. We should all stand together and root it out. Violence should be the first casualty in these panchayat elections. Violence has to be coffined, and the last nail is to be driven deep. This is possible only all the stakeholders come together. I am hopeful this will be possible.
Those are very strong words, Mr. Governor. A final question. Do you support the decision then of the Kolkata High Court that has stepped in and has called for central forces now to monitor the election? The West Bengal government is going to the Supreme Court against that?
As far as the court decisions are concerned, the support of the governor is irrelevant. Under the Constitution of India, under the judicial system that is prevalent in the country, if the High Court issues an order, there is always a right to appeal to the Supreme Court. That the government has gone to the Supreme Court means that there is belief in the legal processes. Let the processes be complete. The Supreme Court is the apex court. Their word will be the last word. So we have to patiently watch for that.
Okay. Let me leave it there, Mr. Governor. You're saying that you are effectively putting in, some would say, the government and the system in Bengal on notice when it comes to violence during elections. We'll see how that plays out in the Panchayat polls. Governor Ananda Bose joining us there on the news today. Let's take a break. On the other side, we'll bring you some good news. Today's good news story, which comes from Haryana. You're watching the news today. News without the noise.
The software engineer meets the gifted content writer, meets the cool UI UX designer, meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
The most credible ranking of India's best B schools is back in an all-new avatar, bigger and better than before. Catch the 2023 listings of MBA programs, technology companies, and the top executive courses. Don't miss the 24th edition of the Business Today Best B Schools and HR Summit on 23rd June in New Delhi.
Quality today. In Delhi, 65. In Mumbai, 101. In Kolkata, 81. In Bangalore, 69. In Chennai, 23. In Hyderabad, 93.
Welcome back. Let's turn to tonight's good news today story. It comes from Haryana, where a roadways operator is winning hearts by taking special care of his passengers. He's now even won Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar's heart. Tonight's good news story is about Sukhbir Chotiwala, who serves drinks and much more, soft drinks, to bus passengers in this scorching weather. I leave you with that good news today story. You stay well, stay safe. Good night. Jai Hind. Namaskar, Shubhratri.
While some of the drivers and conductors of Haryana roadways are infamous for their arrogance, Sukhbir Chotiwala is a pleasant aberration. Sukhbir, who hails from Rithal village of Rohtak, works as an operator of Haryana roadways. Working since 2017, Sukhbir makes sure his passengers are comfortable. In the scorching heat, Sukhbir serves water to all the passengers from his salary.
मेरी ड्यूटी जयपुर रूट पे लगी थी, सोनीपत से जयपुर। तो उस टाइम बहुत गर्मी थी, तो मैंने वहाँ देखा सवारी बच्चे पानी के लिए गर्मी में बहुत बुरा हाल था जी। तो मैंने सोचा ड्यूटी के साथ साथ क्यों ना थोड़ा ये धर्म पुण्य का काम भी हो जाए, और उसी दिन से आते मैंने 4 कैंपर खरीदे और अगले दिन मैं कैंपर ही लेके गया रूट पे, और ये जल की सेवा फिर वहीं से शुरू की जी मैंने।
Sukhbir's selfless act has impressed Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar, who praised Sukhbir in a tweet and invited him to Chandigarh to felicitate him. No wonder Sukhbir's bus is a favourite among passengers amid the prevailing heat wave condition. Bureau Report, India Today.
The software engineer meets the gifted content writer, meets the cool UI UX designer, meets the talented photographer to create the big dream. The world comes together at Sharda University. So where are you?
We often slather oodles of sunscreen on our faces in summers. Pick the choicest of products for our face. Use sunglasses to protect the eyes. But what about our hair? Summers demand special care for hair. Curated hair care routines to tackle frizz and dryness. As you embrace the summer, you must make sure that you tweak your skincare and hair care routine to look your absolute best during the hot and sunny days. The maximum damage is from harmful UV rays. UVB radiation is responsible for hair protein loss, and UVA radiation is responsible for color changes.
In summers, it really depends upon the scalp type, because if there is oily scalp, then it produces more oil. So then the answer is no. But if the scalp is really dry, like some people, they have very dry scalp, and they have kind of psoriasis and all those other stuff. So their oil is needed even in summers.
Here are some things you must do. Experts advise using products that cater to fragile hair. Often we end up making common mistakes like using products without seeking advice from a professional. Using thermal styling tools without using a heat protectant, or even using the wrong comb. Also, our hair care products must be free from chemicals like sulfates and parabens.
If I explain to you a little bit about sulfate, it is like a foaming agent. It creates foam. So now we have to see if the hair is very oily or if we have put in oil, then the sulfate is required. But if it's everyday shampoo, then sulfate is not required, because it would work as a face wash to wash your hair. And parabens are like preservatives. So there are harsh preservatives and there are soft preservatives. Soft preservatives are something like, if you see, like, we use it in food, packaged food. So those are the softer ones.
Who doesn't love summers for the simple fact that it opens up swimming pools with chlorine found in them? Chlorine strips your hair of its natural oils. A dip in the ocean stresses hair in another way. The heavy salt content in seawater draws water out of your hair and skin. And we end up with pruned fingers and parched hair.
When you are going for a swim, apply some conditioner to the hair and let it be, or maybe a light oil will do the magic for you. So just apply it and wear a swimming cap. That's very important. So you have to tie it up. If you have long hair, you have to tie it up and then put a cap onto it, swimming cap, because that's how you can protect against the chlorinated water.
Weather forecast now. Delhi, maximum 37 and minimum 26 degrees. Mumbai, maximum 32 and minimum 28 degrees. Kolkata, maximum 39 and minimum 23 degrees. Bangalore, maximum 26 and minimum 22 degrees. Chennai, maximum 31 and minimum 24 degrees. Hyderabad, maximum 38 and minimum 28 degrees.
Why does this happen? Let me tell you the science behind it.
For more informative videos like this, keep watching India Today News Mo.
Kerala's public health, all political parties traveling from different parts.
Armed with facts,
Looking at political back.
she takes the news by its horns.
You think the future of these students are not hampered?
Fierce, bold and direct, setting the tone for the biggest stories from every corner and every angle. Expect nothing but the unfiltered truth.
News first, niceties later. Watch me, Nabila Jamal, on India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
पहलवानी में चोट लगना श्रृंगार है, तो वो श्रृंगार तो सभी को पहनना पड़ता है। जैसे उठाया गया था तो वो बहुत देखने में भी बहुत गंदा लग रहा था।
कहते हैं वो गलत तरीके से छूते हैं, उनकी निगाह गलत होती है।
अगर ऐसा होता तो कुछ तो फील हुआ होता हम लोगों को, ऐसा कभी नहीं लगा।
पता नहीं क्या बेइज्जती होगी, कि तीसरे माँ बाप के भय।
नेताजी को वो लोग तो थोड़े बनाए हैं, नेताजी को जनता चुन के भेजी है।
ब्रज भूषण का काम पॉलिटिक्स का ही है, वो खिलाड़ी तो है नहीं।
Co-powered by Bajaj Allianz Life Diabetic Term Plan, Tata Motors, new forever, Nippon India Mutual Fund, wealth sets you free, Extra Safe, Polycab Green Wire.
Countdown to Prime Minister's biggest US visit. Intimacy, investment, and India first. All eyes on the Biden-Modi meet. India has earned this high table. India's rise in a collapsing world. Modi, Biden to shape new reality. Namaste America. Big focus on India first.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state visit to the United States of America on the invitation of US President Joe Biden has the potential to transform not just India-US relations, take it to the next level, but the way India and the US deal with the rest of the free world and checkmate an expansionist China. China is a threat to the entire free world. The United States realizes this. India knows this. The US now realizes India is the only powerful country in the world that can partner with the US to save the world from China's expansionism. Be it China's Belt and Road Initiative, China's debt trap diplomacy, or the Chinese wolf warriors post-COVID.